So welcome back for the very exciting part 2. I just wanted to show you one little thing before we really make that portfolio change. This is the folder I just created out on the desktop. And inside of it is, as I said, a bunch of stuff we're going to use. But I wanted to point out a couple things. I know the quality in this video is pretty low, but this folder I just selected has a name which would be bad to use as a web folder. That is, you can see it's got a couple of spaces around that little hyphen, and it's got a capital letter there on copy. So I'm going to just fix the name on that before I do anything else. This one likewise, behaviors and menus. This wouldn't be such a great thing either. So again, I can do a bunch of things. I could run it all together, or if I wanted to, I could hit like the underscore character and tidy up any little gaps that are left, right? But one way or another, you don't want to have caps and holes in folder names. Okay, so again, these are the folders inside our site. Now, when Dreamweaver's back open again, I'm going to do a little connect to server and get a copy of our portfolio. So this is kind of a strange idea, but it really doesn't matter that much what sort of shape our portfolio is in right now. We can edit it anytime. We could probably even start with just a fresh copy and kind of make everything okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I start, of course, by down here to the right, I click Expand to show local and remote sites. And once I'm in there, of course, this is Dreamweaver's FTP mode. And off to the left, I can see the remote server area, and I click this button up here at the top to connect. All right. Now you can see, if I look over here, I've got Alice and AP divs and Cafe 1 and some other stuff, something called WP. Oh yeah, that's where my install of WordPress is. And I've got index.html. Now that's the portfolio. At this very top level, this little unnamed folder we see at the top here, this is really key because that's the level at which the portfolio should live. And if you ever drop another index file on there meant to be from a different site, another project, it'll simply wipe out your portfolio. This probably happened to a couple of you. Now, I'm going to grab a copy of it. And when I say grab a copy of it, I mean I'm just going to pull it over here to the side. I'm going to drop it on the highest folder I can see to the right, the little open-looking green folder at the very, very top. So here I go. Pick it up, put it down. And I'll say, sure, bring the dependent files. Now those are just the images that go with the portfolio, and frankly it doesn't matter that much. You could get along fine without them for this, but there's no reason not to either. Okay, so here we are. This is our portfolio, just freshly grabbed from over here. These files are identical at this moment. So now I'm going to disconnect from the server, and I'm going to drop back into regular Dreamweaver. And if you can see the local site files down here to the right at this point, there we have index. That's the portfolio. I'll give it a double click. And here's the very exciting Your Names portfolio. I'll just put my name on there. Now you can see I've got a few things listed here that I've never linked up, and you might be in that position. And I've got a few things over here that have never even had text entered for them. So let's just take an example. If I had something in, let's say, this Cafe client folder down here to the right that I wanted to link to. I realize Cafe 1 sounds a little bit similar, but it's a different thing. So I'm going to click right after where it says Cafe 1, and I'm just going to hit the Enter key. And I can type on the line below it, Cafe client. I'll hit Enter again just to get my cursor safely out of the way. And then this is the thing. This is really, really simple stuff, basically, but it's kind kind of seeing how they relate that gets people mixed up. So I'm going to select the words Cafe Client, and I'm just going to look down and find that Cafe Client folder and open it up. And the only file that I need to link to in there is index, because of course that file, if I link to it, will essentially open access to whatever other files are linked up to it inside that folder. So it's a really simple process, really. So here I go. I'm going to grab the point to file device, this little guy. I'm going to pull it right over to index, let go, and that's linked. Now I could sit here and keep working, but I want to show you how simple this really is. Okay, so let me save, and I'm going to go straight back into FTP mode. So here I go back to my FTP service. So let me close up Cafe Client, because frankly the less visual clutter on screen when you're doing this, oftentimes the better. Now there's only one file that's been edited. Here we have all this stuff. We only edited one file, this index. And this, of course, is basically the same file as this guy over here to the left, but with a critical change. It's got a link to the folder called Cafe Client. So here I go. I'm going to pick up index.html from the right, and I'm going to take it. Of course, it goes up to the high left there. It goes right on top of that little unnamed folder at the top. I'll say yes to bringing dependent files along, just because whatever. Doesn't really matter. Those are the images, and they were already there. Okay. So I'm not going to go look at it right now because I trust myself on this, but there's one thing missing, obviously. That file has a link to a place called Cafe Client, but Cafe Client does not currently exist anywhere over here, does it? It's Cafe 1, but that's not it. So what I'm going to do is just pick up whole cloth the entire folder called Cafe Client and just dump it on that highest folder off to the left there. And there are a fair number of files in there, probably more than really needed to be there, but I'm going to say yes to any dependencies. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. So believe it or not, that's it. So the concept here is simply to define a site in a folder that holds all the folders you need to upload. To capture a copy of your portfolio file, your little index file, and simply link it up to whatever needs to be linked up, and then just drag it back to the server. I know sometimes these things are easier to say than to understand, but I think that's pretty straightforward. So anyway, I'm going to disconnect and drop back, and I'm going to shut up for a little while here, and maybe I'll build some more of these things for you.